Hey, everybody. Happy Friday after a week off from lives. And, we thought about doing it last week, but there was just so much going on. And, we had people to house and, it's just so hard to peel away to, spend the, 4 or 5 hours it takes to get a live going and then the 2 hours it takes to do a live. I just didn't have it. So I apologize to y'all. But
we were still scrambling to get ready for Saturday.
Yeah.
For the festival.
Well, and I'm still kind of scrambling in some kind of ways, like that don't matter. Just we're, still going through some of those kind of things. So, but it's cool. We did get to, have a whole bunch of fun and a whole bunch of reflection. And, that's some big, powerful stuff, which we'll talk about, during the course of the live. But before we get too far along, let's get back up here to the top and welcome in everybody. Louise Wesley, beautiful Louise Wesley is in the house. Good to see you. Half Bubble Off, the greatest name on the internet.
Half Bubble Off.
See, guys, I'm totally discombobulated. Helen, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Terminator's in the house. Good to see you. I did get your message and Terminator, and it's en route. Let's see here. Lisa, good to see you. Skanes girl, long time no see. Jane, welcome in. Harry Can Hempworth. And, of course, the beautiful Paula are in the house tonight. It says, Kent and Paula, I'll put on the screen. Here we go. Kent and Paula are in your live audience. Please tell the rest of the saga as to the fate of the snake eggs found under the hay bale. Okay, well, that's cool. There's no more saga to it. They didn't hatch. They got ran over by the skid loader, and that's the end of that. Right.
Is that what you did?
Yeah. I didn't mean to run them over. I just did. See, they were in a bale of hay, and then they fell out. And I'm looking at them. I'm like, that's probably a snake egg. And I left them just right there. And then I went back to get a bale of hay.
Oh, maybe that's where that big black snake came from.
No, I doubt you. Do you think that the big black snake came from the place we got the hay? The hay came from a whole other farm. And then I set it down, and the eggs fell out. So
you were pulling it off the trailer?
Correct.
I didn't know if you were moving it around. I don't know where.
Yeah, I was pulling it off the trailer. And then BC.
You don't think that snake where'd that snake come from then? The woods.
So say nature. What do you mean? Where did it come from? Toledo.
I thought maybe you would have seen something else.
It was your brother. It was your brother from Toledo.
Yes, lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, he was like, just let it go. I'm like, that is way too close to the chicken coop, and I've got babies in there. And he's like, just let it go. And I'm like, no, I don't want to.
Don't in Kansas. You don't kill big black snakes.
No, he let it go.
Yes.
And it's close to the chicken coop.
Did you lose any baby chickens?
I don't know. I had an attack. Maybe it was the snake.
From Toledo. We'll be cool. Welcome in. Barbara and Aljo. Hello, hello. Let's see here. Helen, hello. Redneck, how you doing, my friend? Gypsy, what's up? The King, Jeff, Gypsy, Hefty, Lefty, Amazon, Mud Dauber, Slick. Phyllis is in the house tonight. Hey, Bird's Eye View, welcome in. Carrie Davis, good to see you. Tina Conkle, hello back at you. The Beautiful Life with Mike and Jen. I'm assuming it's Jen. Jen, good to see you. Mike's probably listening, though. Kent, good to see you. Starla Doak, hello, hello. My buddy Mo. What's up, big dog? Let's see here. Nidos, how are you? I hope you're getting closer to your goal. Let's see here. Oh, there's Mario. Mario said, howdy. It was great seeing everyone. Big thank you to Tag and B for the best Midwest hospitality. Much love to you both. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot tonight about the event and just kind of what went on in the before and the after things. Good to see you, buddy. Dana Green's in the house. Good to see you. Songs of Joy. Hello, hello. Hey, Zeus. Good to see you. Can't forget Ricky Dicky Doodog Rhymes. Good to see you as well. All right. I think I'm caught up. That's pretty cool, huh? You think?
Yeah.
You got anything important on your list you want to start us with tonight?
Well, I did find, so the festival, there was some food left over and the fridge was full. Mm-hmm. And I stuck them in a cooler and I found them today.
They weren't cool anymore, were they?
No. It looked like a science experiment. It was really gross and it felt so bad. I pulled the whole cooler out of the building and opened it up and took the pan out, and I disposed of it. And now it was in a bus tub, and I can't get the smell out of the bus tub. It's really bad. It smells like death. I got a big old pimple.
Hey, Silver Lining, welcome in. Good to see you. We missed you. RN, good to see you as well. Rosie, how's it going? And Helen wants to know, oops, sorry, wrong one. Helen wants to know, have you heard about the screw worm in cattle coming? We have. We're going to try really hard to keep, our herd isolated. And, we'll just have to see how it goes. But yeah, I hope there's nothing to that.
I think they're stopping the cattle from coming from from Mexico, right? Is that the only place?
Yeah. Jesus said, I had a random rooster show up, told my dad, and he said, check the eggs in the fridge. No, he walked here, I think, right? He wasn't from Toledo either.
Where'd he come from?
My wife's a dingbat sometimes. I love you though, bud.
Yeah, that's okay.
I do.
I am.
Hey, Darren Jones, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah. So to talk about a little bit about the food process, because we fed a lot of people during the event, right?
I don't know how many people donated beef. There was so many different packages of beef in the fridge. The whole fridge was full. So we had all different packaging. I think they ended up making 120 hamburger patties, and
plus brats, plus chicken, plus hot dogs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, my good buddy Scott's in the house. What's up, dude?
And there were hot dogs left over, and we put those in the freezer for, the next event. Oh, brats too were put in the freezer, because whatever was left in the fridge, we just put over into the freezer so that we can utilize it next time. And that way we're not wasting anything. Well, not much. I mean, the stuff that got cooked, that didn't get eaten, that got put in the cooler, that got forgot about for an entire week, that was wasted.
Yeah. Yeah. But other than that, food went smooth?
Everything else, yeah. We had the potluck, so people brought things. We had desserts, all the kinds of foods. I actually didn't eat much because I was running here and there and everywhere. Yeah. By the time I got to the food line, it wasn't a line.
Yeah.
It was pretty slim pickings. I think I didn't even make a plate. I just grabbed a burger and then walked away.
Yeah.
So I think I ate one patty, not even a whole patty.
Yeah. What was, I also didn't get to eat much there. In fact, right before the fireworks lit off, you had handed me a plate.
And I was carrying that plate around for so long. People were like, what are you doing with that? And I'm like, I'm looking for my husband. Have you seen him? Have you seen him? Have you seen him? Somebody saw me twice and was like, are you still carrying that plate? I'm like, I still haven't found him. Have you seen him?
I finally got sat down. I got about halfway through my burger and the fireworks started. And so I took off running because I wanted to film it. Ended up missing about the first, 10 seconds of it or whatever.
Of the fireworks?
The fireworks, yeah.
To film it, you mean?
Yeah, because the music kicked on and I knew what was about to happen.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I bailed out and did the rest. And by the way, I released a video on the fireworks. I hope you all have seen it. If you haven't seen it, let me know. I'd be happy to play it tonight on the live if you guys would like to see it. It was awesome.
I would have to say that was the best fireworks show I had ever seen, really. Yeah. And I don't know if it's because I was right up front with the music. Right. You could feel the music and the booms, and it was the water in the background, and the smoke was colored from the coloring of the fireworks. Yeah. And so I would have to say that it was the best fireworks show that I've seen.
And I've got some pictures. I got some pictures in the live tonight, but again, I can play the video if you guys are interested. It'd be pretty.
I think you should.
Pretty easy to do.
It was like how long is it?
But maybe everybody's already seen it, Skane's girl says, B, your sister was precious. She sent me home with some of her barbecue sauce, and the kids were eating it with their pizza Shuffles.
Shuffles.
I don't know what that is, but good.
Like a waffle?
Yeah, good. All right.
She's going to tell us what that is.
Yeah. Jen says, I was absolutely not expecting that quality and quantity. Paul did awesome. Yes, he did.
I agree.
100%. And it was so much fun and powerful. Like what B said, it was powerful.
It was pretty cool too to see how he did it, because he had like flat boards that he mounted all of the things on, like packs. What do you call those? Artillery shells?
Yeah.
What are they? There's like packs that you buy, and then he had like single tubes that were full of things that were mounted, and so everything was like foamed into place so they wouldn't tip over. Remember that time that we did the fireworks show?
Mm-hmm.
You did the fireworks show,
mm-hmm.
and that one tipped over and hit your dad in the chest.
Mm-hmm.
They foam them in place so that they don't move.
Mm-hmm.
What a great idea. But he had like, how many different, he had like 5 different pallets of explosives.
Yeah, there was more like 7 or 8 of them.
And he said, I went down to your shop when he was hooking it all up, and it's magnificent how it's done. He showed me there's like a box, like I would imagine like a controller type of thing, and that lit everything off. And so it was just a tiny little LED light that would light up, and as it lit up, it produced just enough heat
18
to
volts
ignite
DC.
The fuse, which was electric, that went to the fireworks. So to see him working on that, and it was all like electronic, no more like running out there with a punk and heating it up or the little blowtorch. So it was fascinating to see him hooking it all up, and all the wires and configurations, and then the songs that went along with it, like that. He was here for a week working on this every day to get these pallets lined up. There was at one point in time before he lit it, we were expecting, the weather said, a possible rain shower. And so we were like, oh no, what do we do? Because he had already brought everything out of the garage and put it all on the dam, like pallet after pallet after pallet, getting ready. And everything was numbered. Every single explosive was numbered so that he could wire it back to the control panel. And everything had tinfoil over each one so that that's what the number was written on. Well, when we were expecting this little bit of rain, I ran inside and I'm like, oh my gosh, Paul, it's raining. And he was like, he took a bite and he goes, how much is it raining? And I'm like, it's raining, but there's still people out there, like they're not running in from the rain. And he goes, it'll be okay. And I'm like, wait, I thought we couldn't get them wet. What? And he goes, that's why the tinfoil's on there. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Hey, real quick, I want to welcome Stan Guthrie in because I just seen he popped in along the way. Yeah, Darren says hopefully it paid off for him. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think everyone was, super, super happy, and it was exciting. And again, I was thankful. And again, if any of you guys are interested in seeing it, let me know in the chat and I'll play it. Yeah, we can look at some pictures of it real quick.
Sure.
Let's see here. So back to we had the Freedom Fest, as you guys know. Jim Gale came down. Let's just talk a little bit about that real quick. So Jim came down, and unfortunately, it was raining.
Yes.
So we didn't get to do the walkthroughs that we wanted to walk through. That's okay.
It was raining.
Raining. So it's okay. You just adapt and just kind of go on. And so we hung out. Jim got up and talked a lot about freedom, and about standing up for yourself, and about building something beyond you. And that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that a lot. Barbecue sauce thing was good. I think a lot of people really enjoyed all of that. The pie walk was fun. And then some of the other games that they played. And I'm going to show you.
We had a lot of people participate in the pie walk.
You did.
A lot more than I had expected. I thought there'd be like 5.
Yeah. I wanted to show you guys this picture because, we talk about how great it was and fun it was and all that, but it's not always fun. And sometimes You know, sometimes you're scrambling, and sometimes it's about, okay, well, now what do we do, right? And so what you're looking at is a bearing in my skid loader, and this is
the skid loader.
Yeah, this is the morning of the event. And you know, the skid loader is a big valuable thing, you know, with pallet forks. I'm moving dumpsters, I'm, you know, getting everything ready. So it's kind of an important tool for me to have. And so during the day, I had to fit in 2 hours of my day to repair this bearing. Now, the good news is that I had the parts on hand.
Yeah.
That's the good news, right?
Yeah. Because you would not have gotten that working that day.
No, if I didn't have parts, you'd be done.
Yeah.
But so the good news is we got it done. So I just figured I'd share that with you guys because I think it's pretty neat. This is,
you can tell that's you and Jim.
Me and Jim, yep. Standing out, filming, watching parts. I just like this picture a lot. Isn't that a cool picture?
The flags above you, the fireworks.
Just the whole, just kind of, you know.
All the people, you in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, kind of the whole thing.
You can see the water.
You can. Some of these pictures that I saved.
Oh, good grief. What is that?
That's a distorted picture.
That looks all kinds of creepy.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's the fireworks.
What's weird is this transferred from, if you look
What
at the,
happened?
okay, we're just going to have to play it. I can't show you guys this unless they're all distorted. That's really weird. On the PowerPoint that I saved them on, none of them were distorted.
Right. They were beautiful. This
Look
looks
at that.
like,
These are cool.
That looks like Vietnam.
Okay. Well, how about we just play it real quick? You want to?
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of this here. Let's play it.
Still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the founding fathers.
can overcome. This is not the end. I still believe in us. Oh, America. You feel the light. Though we can stars cry liberty over evil, over tyranny. Blood pouring out evil. They sacrifice it all for I still believe in
Love will win. Yeah, right.
Heroes fought for our equality. Now is the time to release and forgive our faults. 'Cause united we will stand. Or divided we will fall. I still believe in us. Always believe in us, my America. This is the land I love, but we gotta heal love. Let it live, to the refugees, the immigrants who find us there, from oppression to a better place.
Well, now you guys seen it. Isn't that cool? Wasn't that fun?
It was amazing.
Yeah. It and you know, guys, it is reminded me of some very important things that I think sometimes we lose track of. You know, I love my country. And you know, you should love your country too. You know, it's not right, and a lot of things they're doing aren't right. And there's corruption and there's tyranny and there's all of those things. There's many people that came before us who thought it was worth standing up for. And you know, we need to go do that, and all of us need to go do that.
He had said that when I was over there watching him for a few minutes, that he has a wall this about the same length as your shop.
Mhm.
He said that his whole wall is full of fireworks.
Mhm.
And so when he was putting this together, he was taking things off of his out of his stash
Mhm.
that he was like, it helped me clear some things out.
Yeah.
Like a lot of things.
It's I think it's just important that we remember all of those things, and that it's a great reminder. There's another
Freedom ain't free.
there's another really great thing that came out of it too, and it was also reminded me that we have to take time for fun. we get so caught up in the world, especially inside the community, is I got to get this done. I got to get that done. This, whatever it is. And, we typically bounce from homestead to homestead, working as hard as we can. And then we come home and scramble, getting caught up on the things that we neglected while we were gone. And it's just a zoo sometimes. And I think it's important to take that time. Also, what a great opportunity to meet new people. We had, quite a few new families
A lot.
from our area.
That's the one thing that I dislike about having them here, because I'm running so much. I don't have the time to sit and chat with the new people or the old people. I mean, there was a one lady in particular that I really wanted to ask a few questions to, and I didn't get that opportunity because I was too busy,
Making sure.
Yeah.
Too busy.
So,
making sure. Hey, I want to get to
but maybe we can do like a smaller dinner and have them over or something, and do more of an intimate thing where we can talk and I could ask my questions.
Yeah, I want to welcome Toby in because I didn't get a chance to do that. Slipped in while we were watching that. Yeah, Terminator says, watching the fireworks and listening to the music is making me cry. The true love and friendship and freedom is so beautiful and spectacular.
I did get teary-eyed too.
Yeah. Well, and I think that also points out another really important lesson, is that it's easy to get offended. It's easy for things to bother you. To take a moment to be thankful for all the things that you have, and that we do live in the country we live in.
And to feel the love too, because
we could have been born in some third world dictatorship somewhere.
Right. If it weren't for the love of those people who fought before us, for us and our country, then we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anyways, it was really, really good for me. And one more thing on the fireworks, just before I go, is I think it's really, really important that I tell everybody who's watching, who was there that night, and who helped that night. Thanks for giving of yourself. There's it's true in a community, it's true in a company. That 80% of the work is handled by 20% of the people 90% of the time.
I am grateful that we can come together and put something like this on.
Yeah.
Thank you to all of you who were involved to help make it happen.
Yeah, and help pick up the weight, because it's hard. There's a lot to it,
Shoot, we're still trying to scramble to clean up after it. I mean, I'm finding cups on the opposite side of the dam. And those are not going to just, biodegrade.
Yeah. We even had people show up after the event to help clean up the next day.
Oh, yeah.
To pick up trash and to, do
wasn't Carl the one that went over and picked up all of the fireworks?
Yes, Carl.
All of the remaining.
Yeah, Carl's a savage. He's a savage. Hey, MJ from Wisconsin, welcome in. Let me see here. Skanes Girl said, I've been beating myself up for taking that weekend to come with the grandkids, but you are so right. We made awesome memories on the long ride camping in Freedom Fest. 100%. 100%. Jen says, we made some amazing new friends and got to enjoy the ones we already knew. Super blessed. Yeah. Oh, Skanes says, if you find a Saints couple, I don't know. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It was a lot of fun. We really, really, really enjoyed it. I did, at least.
Yeah, I did too.
Jen says, dang it, Carl was an overachiever. Yes, he was. So let's share some pictures of the farm, huh? We can kind of work on that a little bit. I took this picture. I know that you're taking a picture of bugs eating your plants, but those are monarch butterflies.
And typically I would not just allow bugs to be eating my food that I want to use. But we left them. They ate a plethora of my dill. And then they went to make their little cocoons.
Yeah.
So I think between both sides, there was two separate sections. No, there were 3 separate sections of dill that they were on. There was quite a few little swallow-tailed butterfly larvae.
But before you explain this picture, I want to welcome my buddy Jesse. And Jesse, what's up? I hope Callie's listening. Callie, what's up? Yep. Go ahead. Here's your herd of guineas that hatched in the food forest, right?
Yes, these are the food forest guineas. And yesterday, I don't even know what day. I'm so lost in my days. This is one of the days they had brought their little flock over to the turkey barn area, and one of the babies was not walking. It was on its side, and it would get up and it would run towards them and then stop and like tilt over and like scoot on its side. I'm like, what the world are you doing? And when I went to go over to it to see what was going on, I realized it was like crippled somehow. I don't know. It was all wet. So it had been dragging itself through the grass for enough times that he was soaking wet from head to toe. He can't live like that. So I picked him up and put him into another baby pen, and I found him not alive later, but there were 16 in the beginning. I think we're down to 12.
I see 12 in that picture. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, I see 12 in that picture. Yeah, what I think is so cool about this, is that it's completely organic. So the guineas,
it's hard to tell.
Yeah, the guineas decided they would fly over, and there might be actually another one right there in the middle that I didn't.
Yeah, that's third. I think there's 13 there.
Anyway,
but that's not what's underneath her too, because they walk with them. Yeah. They're underneath them. They hide right at mom.
Yeah. So this guinea decides it's going to fly over the food forest fence and hatch all of these babies in the horseradish.
Yeah.
And, we talked about this before, but they're growing up, and you know what? Now this is actually in the main pen with the rest of the animals, and so she's bringing them around.
She brings them over twice a day. They come over and I think they wait and they listen for the noise of the geese, and then they head over for breakfast. So I have made them dependent upon me.
Dependent guineas.
Yes. So they hurry up. They don't stay long. They do like one lap. This is the hay ring for the cows. And the cows aren't here right now. So I drug it over to the opening of the turkey barn because I wanted the turkeys to roost on this instead of the watering trough because they're drowning themselves. And so I was trying to give them a different place to roost, and they don't like this place. So I drug it over here for nothing. But the guineas, they'll walk over, they'll do a quick loop, and then they're gone. It's they have made it a ritual. They come over, and I think it's pretty cool because the moms or teacher, I don't know. There's 3 birds that run around with this clutch. So I'm not sure what's the boy and the girl. I don't know. But I just realized I had not checked on the guinea that is on the nest in the garden. I probably should do that. It has been so I don't even know where if I'm coming or going. I'm pretty sure I didn't eat today.
Well, I'm pretty sure you didn't feed me.
I did not? Okay, so then I did not eat today. I was pretty sure. I thought so.
All right. I have no idea why you sent a picture of the grill, but I put it in.
Because we had a nice little, so after the gym event, people got together, to help clean and just pick stuff up, put stuff back the way it was supposed to be. And we decided to use the grill to cook. So one of the grills had a dessert in it, like an oven, and then the other one we used to fry up some fish. The neighbor across the street gave me a 5-pound bag of bass fish that was captured just around the corner from us. So he said he had plenty and would like to share. And I said, absolutely. And because it was all one big brick of fish, I was like, well, I'm going to have to wait until there's an event to pull out 5 pounds of fish.
This was the night after the celebration, right?
Yes. Yeah. So this was Sunday. I had defrosted it and cooked it up. And then we had prawns and what was in that? Prawns and corn. Potatoes.
And then you got turkeys hanging out in your Jeep.
Yes, I was hauling feed, and this guy was like thinking he was going to check things out. And so he got up there and was just sitting up there I'm like, no, here, I want you to sleep on the hay ring. And he's like, I'll sleep on the door jamb.
Yeah, until they poop down your door.
He actually didn't. I'm going to have to go to the incubator. It's beeping. Can I take a minute and go put water
Well,
in
you
it?
can.
Then
I
you're
can
not
do
going
these.
to know
I
what's
can do these.
going
Go.
on.
I can do
Okay.
these, but you want to know what's going on.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
So another cool thing that we did the day before is me and a couple buddies, we decided that we would work on the plumbing in the community building. So we got the tub and the shower set in the 2 bathrooms for the community building. And yeah, you can see them there in the first picture. They're sitting working on that. And that was really, really nice. That gets me a long, long ways and it helps me go by myself for a while. So, big shout out to, Mario and Jen and Carl and, everybody that came over to help. It was pretty cool. The picture on the right, I think, has a funny story. Remember we told you we were going to make a slip and slide? So we pile up dirt on the right and on the left, and you can see the skid loader down there, right? We're moving it, and then we're going to put this there's a big ramp at the end. We're going to put this heavy plastic on it. We're going to pull it up to the hill. I had a pump. We're going to take a pump. We're going to run a line up to it. It's going to push water down. We're going to run it off the solar generator. Kids are going to have a blast. It's all going to be fun, right? Yeah, except that we did all of those things and got the pump to the top, and it wasn't putting out enough water to send anybody down the slide. So we spent all of this time trying to create a slip and slide for the kids.
Yes.
And now here we sit 2 hours before the event starts with
And it didn't work.
do you leave it sitting there? Do you pick it up quick? What do you do? Because you're certainly not going to make a run to the plumbing store to get new parts. And so anyway, that didn't work. So what we decided to do instead, which was a lot of fun, is a bunch of us older guys and some young ladies as well decided that we would take a bicycle, a little girl's bicycle. It was purple. And we would just ride down the ramp, jump the jump at the end, and land in the pond. And it was fun. Jim Gale did it. I did it. Right. Jesse did it. Joe did it. It was just a bunch of us that were down there bush riding and launching off into the pond. And that kept us pretty entertained for a little bit. Would you agree?
It was fun watching you guys.
Yeah. Would you do that?
See, no, I wouldn't get in the pond anyway, let alone ride a bike into it. I'm like, oh, good luck fishing that bike out. It didn't seem like it took you guys too hard to get the bike out though.
No. So once you launched, you pretty much lost the bike, and that pond gets deep fast.
Yeah.
And so you just had to dive down till you found it and then drag it back up with you. So we'd never lost it, but it was absolutely fun to watch. A couple of the bigger kids did it, and that was fun. I thought, watching them do that. RN said, I wish we lived closer together so I could attend. We don't travel that far anymore. Yeah, we'd love to see it too. Jesse says it was a blast.
Nobody did it twice.
That's not true. Jesse did.
Did he?
Killian did.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. So only the brave did it twice.
Well, so when I did it, I went down, hauling on, pedaling, launch. And to me, what it felt like, now the video, and I don't have it loaded so I can show you, but the video shows me going in tire first.
Yeah.
But what it felt like to me is that I went in face first because I went,
You hit your
bam.
face?
Yeah. And it hurt. And Mo engineer, great question. Great question. You want to answer that question?
You did.
I did.
And then he was like, that was so much fun. And then everybody else was like, I want to do it. No, I'm just teasing.
Yeah. Jesse said, oh yeah, I did. Yeah, it was a lot of fun doing silly things like that. And feeling that youth again. It hurt. And then I was all wet. But it was fun.
It hurt. I jumped into the pond. It hurt.
Jesse said, is that why you wouldn't do it again, Tag? No, the main reason was I just didn't want to get wet again. I finally started drying off, and then so.
Yeah, and then your feet were wet the whole night.
Yeah, the whole night. Yeah. So after it was all over, the very next day, we picked up all the plastic, picked up the pump, picked up the line, picked all of that, and we're going to go back to the drawing board and see.
The plastic is still down there outside. We got to
do
something.
It's all
with it
folded
all.
up, though.
Yeah.
We just got to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to just pick it all up.
Jesse says, I'm a Sally.
You're a Sally.
Yeah. I don't get called Sally much. Not too often, anyway. All right. So that's pretty much what we've been up to as far as the farm goes, right? I mean, we haven't really had a lot of time to do a lot of things. There is stuff everywhere going on. Blackberries, and you did get to pick some potatoes out of the garden
Yes.
to eat. That was good.
I fed some of our people some potatoes.
Yep.
Yep.
What's next for you?
I've got to get up to the garden. There's things that I still need to tend to.
Okay, like?
I don't want to tell you.
Come on.
I don't want to tell you because I'm going to have to listen to it.
Baby, you listen, you do not have to tell me. We can change the rules of our relationship where we keep secrets from each other. No problem. Deal.
No.
Okay, what's going on?
I need to plant the asparagus.
Okay.
And it's like 12 inches deep. So of course, like that's a chore.
Let me dig it with a skid steer.
That would be better.
Mm-hmm.
I was just looking at this really black cloud right here above us. Could you see how dark we are?
Mm-hmm.
I need to. I would like. Well, probably not right now because it's too hot. But this fall, I would like to find a tree to plant my mom and dad's ashes in.
Mm.
I went and picked up my mom. Well, half of her, because that's what I was entitled to.
Mm.
So I actually she's still in the car.
So before you get off on a rabbit trail,
What do I got to do?
what are you doing in the garden that you don't think I'd be happy with?
The asparagus was
Because you hadn't planted
because
it
I
yet?
hadn't planted it yet, and you were like, better get that asparagus planted. And I said, I'm right on top of that. And then we had a dinner, and then another dinner, and then house guests, and then other things, and
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah, I think we're kind of all behind a lot. I got to get all the stuff put back in the shop, get that all arranged. I'm going to get a refrigerator hopefully tomorrow for the community building. So I got to get that done.
We'll get to bed. We'll start getting to bed at a normal hour. Normal hour.
Yeah, B and I've been going.
Normal hour for us is like 9.
Yeah, but the last 3 or 4 or 5 nights we've been going to bed at midnight and 1. And
there was one night we went to bed at like 4 in the morning.
no, you, not me.
Where were you?
Sleeping.
Where was I? No.
I don't know. Oh yeah, no. One night it was like 1:45, and I'm like, I'm done, and I went to bed. I have no idea what time you came to bed. But hey, guess who joined us? No lives complete.
Ooh, without a background.
That's right. Said late but present. Yep, good to see you.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's lots of stuff going on. I need to get up into the food forest. I need to get another layer of fence up. I got to get the gates hung.
The food forest. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I found a pile of feathers over here in the yard, and found that I believe dumpster turkey is missing.
Dumpster turkey.
Yes. So we have the dumpster over at the community building. The main dumpster for the whole property is typically up at closer to the road. And we brought it closer to the community building to utilize it for our event. And it's still there. And we missed pickup. But Jen walked over there to do something, and she said, "Oh, you got a turkey over here sitting on eggs." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, let me see." Show me, because I have like 4 turkeys missing. And so she showed me, and I was like, "Okay, great." Well, I was walking home from the community building and heard the distinct sound of baby turkeys. So I walked over there, and she had a couple of eggs hatch. So she was kind of walking around for 2 days, and now she's missing. Driveway turkey, who I named Tara, because we have, Sarah and Nara, and now we have Tara. And she, when I went out to do chores this morning, she was like rushing towards me, and she only had 1 baby with her. And when I saw her get closer to me, she had blood on her back. And so I trapped her inside of one of the turkey like pens or runs, and trapped her in there. And I was able to catch her and typically she allows me to catch her, but she was walking around all puffed up and like making her boy noise, and I caught her and her fingernail was bleeding, and when I lifted up her like wing to see what was going on with where the blood was coming from, I could see her back was scratched raw and her feathers are missing, the skin is missing. And so something got her, and her darker Narragansett looking baby is gone. So I sprayed the Cali water, the hypochlorous acid, from the Kangen water machine on her back, and she instantly like started shaking. So I don't know if it was, I mean, obviously it was probably uncomfortable because it looked open and bleeding. So I don't know what got her, but when this morning before our guests left, they said that they had heard a commotion last night and the dogs basically nipped it in the bud. Like it was, the birds were going crazy and then the dogs intervened and then it was over. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I think the dogs chased off whatever it was or killed whatever it was.
Well, Rose buries everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
So you
everything. She finds a glove that smells great. She goes and she buries it.
Yep. That's what they do.
I've never seen that before.
So what else you got to work on before we get to good news?
You just keep coming back to that. I just have to tend to that. I have to mow because there's the grass is almost to my knee in certain spots, and just weed eat and just ties the tomatoes up and the cucumbers. I mean, I'm sure that the cucumbers are spent because you have to pick them. You have to pick them in order for them to produce. You have to the whole garden's like that basically. If you don't, you get out of it what you put into it. And I've been busy.
Yeah. Well, you know what the good news is?
I will be
tomorrow's a brand new day.
to it.
Right. Tomorrow's a brand new day.
That is what I have to deal with. It's just getting back to it.
Yeah. You know, on a kind of on a community food front, something that I find super fascinating that I don't want to say that nobody's noticed, but it certainly hasn't been something that's been talked about a lot here inside our community. But something that I noticed a lot this year is, kind of organically, we took a gigantic step in food security this year. And what I mean by that is this year was a year full of sharing and conquering. And a lot of the homesteads were trading plants. We're getting animals back and forth. I mean, food. Right. I mean, American Roots is giving birds and, you're giving birds. And
I got a cantaloupe.
You're getting cantaloupe the other day, but also the plants that you've gotten that go in, and then the plants that you've dug up that have gone out.
Yeah.
And.
Yeah. We were blessed with all kinds of plants this year that will come back. If I take care of them, will come back every year so that we can utilize them here for us and people we know for the future.
Yeah. And to me, what was so amazing about it is it was very organic. We try really, really hard in our community to figure out what the perfect recipe is. But the truth is we are, in a lot of ways, still in an infancy stage. We're still trying to figure out how to make the whole machine work, without hiccup, right? How to live this life of, perpetual sustainability. And
there's hiccups.
Of course, there's always hiccups, but, I think going through the weekend made me thankful for where we're at. We're miles ahead of where we've ever been.
Oh, right. I'm grateful.
Yeah. And so I'm grateful for that. And, but it was just cool to see the community from a food perspective, just kind of organically
trade.
Well, no, they always traded. I'm talking about really step it up. Like this year, there was a lot of it, right?
Well, so far there has been a lot of it.
Yeah, up until this point. So I think that was, a pretty cool thing. Fall Festival. Want to talk about that?
Yeah.
So we're going to, here in the next handful of days, we're going to meet to discuss the Fall Festival. And this will be the first one we've done one of these. And so it'd be kind of new to us, but it seems to be that what people want to do is create a fall festival, me included, be included that
Another festival.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
let's party more.
4 year. If we have 4 fun events that help build our local community, because again, there's a lot of things to it. Why would you do it, right? I mean, there's just so much that goes into it.
You mean 5? 4.
4.
So not the Festivus?
The Celebration of Life in the Spring, the Freedom Fest, the Harvest Fest, and the Freeman Festivus. 4.
Oh, so but the last 2 were at the same time?
What are you talking about?
When would you do the fall festival?
Like September.
Okay, and then 2 months later do.
You know, I mean, we've got to get them scheduled, but the idea is to do one a quarter.
Oh, I guess that'd be about right.
Right. I mean, so, you know.
Why was I thinking? I don't know.
Bird's eye view goes, I'm just trying not to kill the plant starts
I was gifted.
that I was gifted. The good news is with that, though, bird's eye view is you get smarter each one. And you are going to kill your fair share of plants. You're going to kill your fair share of chickens and turkeys. You're going to kill your fair share of all kinds of stuff. Right?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, not everybody, though, will waterboard a chicken to death.
Right. Not everybody's gonna.
Yeah. Bee will.
Some people are gonna be like really great at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Bee will waterboard. I don't know about.
I didn't realize that's what I was doing until after it was too late. It was an accident.
Yeah. I'm hoping inside the community that we can figure out a way to take that same kind of, you know, food security, organic growth. Let's take care of everybody. Let's do all of that. We can continue to push those types of programs, you know, for lack of a better word, you know, to more and more aspects of, you know, what we consider to be an intentional neighborhood, right? We're not an intentional community. We're an intentional neighborhood because we don't all live together. We just live all over closer together, you know? Mo said, I am the John Wick of plant killing. Hey, and Mandy Garrett's in the house. Hello. Hey, RN. And this was asked before, but I forgot to get to it, and then it just blew right on by. But B, how are your bees doing?
I haven't even been over there to mow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I gotta call the tractor people. Good grief. They were supposed to be here last week.
Yep.
What is today? Today's Friday.
Rabbit trail, right?
Thank you for bringing it to my attention that I have to get over there.
You know what's funny is that you took the bee.
I know the
right.
bee thing and went shoot
Right.
tractor. I have not been over there. I need to find time to go over there.
Jen says there's also the apple to the head.
The apple to the head. Oh,
So why don't you tell? Hey, Rhonda, welcome in. Okay, B, what's going on? This will be a doozy.
No, I just threw an apple and it hit a chicken in the head. I like threw it. I was trying so hard to miss everybody.
You
and
know-
I hit the smallest chicken in the whole yard right in the head. And it like rolled it. It was so bad. I was like, oh my gosh. And she's like, oh. Like she's like, I'm like, no. And then we had to like catch it. And then it was like, oh, it was so bad. The thing, and it's like this, I'm not kidding. Like it's
Oh shit.
turkey, its clutch mates are all like almost the size of a full size chicken, almost. And this chicken still looks like it's a month old. It still looks like it's like
Well, if
barely got its feathers.
if people were throwing apples and hitting you in the head, it's
Yeah,
not your
if-
growth too.
If I was like, yeah. I did not mean to do that. And then of course, because I was trying to break the apples as I was landing them
So not only did you throw it, you chucked it.
hard. I threw it so hard. I wanted to break it. It didn't break. Onto this poor chicken. I felt so bad. And then of course Jen walks over to the not to the chicken, to the apple. And then just like uses her foot to like just smash it instead of like, throwing it hard enough to literally murder a chicken. No chickens were hard. She was dazed for sure. She was dazed for several minutes. But I can say though that it wasn't my actions that caused her stunted size. Like that was the first time I did that.
Packratz is giving out watermelon rind by approximate throws last week. Binged the shy little donkey in the head. Couldn't have done that if I tried.
Right. Right. It's just that it's like, oh no.
Do you think that your chickens get together and meet and go, she's a pretty nice chick, but she's kind of unstable?
No, I think that they're like, oh, mother, I love you. I think that they're super grateful for everything that I do for them. And I think that chicken that got hit by the apple, he probably was like, whoa, fall from the sky. I mean, to him, he probably didn't know I did it, like, to be honest.
Yeah. Too bad chickens can't talk, because I bet he still remembers it.
He probably thought Jen did it because she was the new one of the bunch.
Oh, blame Jen. That's a good policy.
I'll tell her.
Yeah.
I'll tell the chicken.
You can do a production meeting?
No, it was an accident. And now I know that you just put him on the ground and you can just take your foot and just like smash it. The apple.
Not the chicken?
Not the chicken. No. So, and those apples came from your mom. She was like, here's some apples for your birds. I'm not going to eat them. And then when I looked at them, I'm like, these aren't bad apples. Like, what's wrong with these? She just didn't want them. Your mom didn't want them.
Did you get dropped on your head as a child?
No.
No, just took an apple to the brain.
My mom threw an apple at me.
The sky is falling, the scalding's fire. And for the wind, your buddy Indiana says, I bet he can't remember.
What? Yeah, I bet so too. Poor little fella. Actually, I think it's a hen. So there's that.
Yeah. The joys of farming, right?
I didn't even remember that. I'm so glad that you were here to remember that for me. I felt so horrible. But she's still alive so far. No brain bleeds.
Have you accidentally hurt anything else lately?
I don't want to talk about that either.
Did you?
No, I don't think so. I mean, not on accident.
So did that mean you hurt something on purpose?
No, I'm just teasing. No.
How many babies?
The only thing that I would have wanted to would have been that black snake, and you were like, no, I don't want to. He's my friend. So
This is great. Little chicken, now known as He Ain't Right.
he ain't right. Okay. You just say that a little quieter. He ain't right.
Yeah, you'll have to document his development the rest of the way. I think you guys, because I know that you guys love B. I think every week you should specifically ask her, how is the development of He Ain't Right? I think we should keep track of that.
HAR.
Indiana Mike asked what Mike and Jen have learned from the experience. And Jen says, we learned not to give B apples.
Yeah. It was an accident.
It
always is an accident, though. Like, my intent is not to harm. I'm doing no harm.
No, you're wishing to do no harm.
My intent is to do no harm.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it was an accident.
Yeah. So
I'll do better next time. I have not fed a chicken with a syringe ever again. Ever. That's not my thing.
Skane's girl's got a rooster named Tooster.
Rooster.
That isn't right. Maybe we can get them together. Have a play date.
No.
Yeah. No. Anyway, guys, had a good time, had a good festival, had good fireworks, had great conversations, got to reflect some, learn some lessons along the way. We've neglected a lot of the things that we're supposed to be doing, but we're going to get right back at it. Have some, but tomorrow morning we'll, jump right on that. Mario says you can call him half apple off plum.
Half apple, half plum.
You like that?
Oh my gosh.
You're amused easily.
Yes, I thought it was funny.
All right. You want to take a look at the news and some of the stuff that's going on?
Sure.
You guys ready for that? All right. Let's see what we got going on. So this is a memo from the Department of Justice, and I want to read it because I think it's really important. It says, as part of our commitment to transparency. Hey, Conserve friends, welcome in. As part of our commitment to transparency, the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation have conducted an exhaustive review of instigative holdings relating to Jeffrey Epstein. To ensure that the review was thorough, the FBI conducted digital searches of its databases, hard drives, and network drives, as well as physical searches of quad areas, locked cabinets, desks, closets, and other areas where responsive material may have been stored. These searchers uncovered a significant amount of material, including more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence. Files relating to Epstein include a large volume of images of Epstein images and videos of victims who are either minors or appear to be minors, and over 10,000 download videos and images of illegal child sex abuse material and other pornography. Teams of agents, analysis, attorneys, and privacy and civil liberty experts combed through the digital and documentary evidence with the aim of providing as much information as possible to the public. Okay, so the goal is to give as much information possible while simultaneously protecting the victims. Much of the material is subject to court-ordered sealing. Only a fraction of this material would have been aired publicly had Epstein gone to trial, and the seal served only to protect victims and did not expose any additional third parties to allegations of illegal wrongdoing. Through this review, we found no basis to revisit the disclosure of those materials and will not permit the release of any child pornography. The systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate the investigation against uncharged third parties. So I'm sure you guys have heard about all of this. They've come out. They've said there is no list, even after everything that was going on.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't follow the news, but I'm pretty sure the Lips girl said that she had it on her desk.
She did say it was on her desk.
Like a lot.
Yes, she did say it was on her desk. And
I don't know how many. She said lots of pages. I don't remember how many pages.
Right here they talk about 300 gigabytes of data. That's a ton, right? I mean, that's a ton. So I think this is a complete shame. And this further convinces me that all we do in this country is, go between, the chosen two you get to pick from. And then
the Jones, what was that? The
Jones Plantation. What a great video. If any of you guys who haven't seen that, you should go look up on YouTube, the Jones Plantation video.
It's still there.
It perfectly describes what we lived through, in my opinion. I'm incredibly disappointed. I don't know if you know this, B, or not, but those two pictures, those paintings that are on the right,
yep,
those come from, they found those at the Epstein's place, and that's George Bush and obviously Clinton. And there were some other ones that were there.
Yeah, is that George Bush with an airplane and some blocks on the ground?
Yep.
Like his blocks fell down?
Yep. Yep. And then obviously Clinton in a dress. So this was very, very disappointing to me, because at the end of the day, and I've said this to other people, but at the end of the day, if you're going to hide behind things like national security, and that national security justifies the brutality of innocence, I want nothing to do with that.
You ain't voting your way out of it. That's
no,
for
you're
sure.
not.
Luck.
Right, you're not going to vote your way out of it. And people can talk about anything they want to talk about, as far as, oh, we're lowering this, or we're doing this, or we're not going to pay taxes on tips. It's crumbs. It's crumbs falling off the table.
Thank you.
Right.
Oh, thank you.
As long as we are willing to brutalize innocence under the veil, the curtain of national security or whatever it is, as long as we're willing to do that, we're doomed to fail. And I'll go a step further. Let's suppose that all of it was minors and they just couldn't let it out. Where's the arrests? Where are people going to jail?
Where's
Where are
the
people doing
justice?
right? I mean, it certainly wasn't minors, having, inappropriate relationship with minors on this place, right? I mean, so it's not a far stretch to say that there's, somebody doing wrong. And the sheer number, 300 gigabytes, certainly not all Epstein who did it, right? So where's the justice? Tell me where the justice is, to any of this.
It gets swept under the rug and we continue blindly as we have in the past.
Yeah, Mo makes my point. He says there has to be adults in those videos doing illegal stuff. No list is necessary to hold people accountable. 100%. And yet we do it anyway. So I think you really have to soul search a little bit right there. If we live in a country that's run by people who can make this justification in their head, then everything else that goes on is a lie and they're capable of everything. And nothing is off the list under the guise of national security or whatever it is. This is an incredible disappointment to me. Shame on Trump. Shame on Bondi. Shame on Bengino. Shame on Patel. Shame on any of them that had a hand in any of this. This is not the way you build trust in your government. You guys, if let's take Trump out of it, whoever, candidate A, you want me to get behind you? Come in and clean house. Come in and say, look, people.
Oh, they were supposed to,
Well,
remember?
of course, but it's clearly a big lie.
Yeah.
Because all you would have to say to me,
stuff.
and I think all you'd have to say to most Americans is, look, Americans, we're in a shit sandwich, right? As they said in Full Metal Jacket, and all of us are going to have to take a bite. I didn't get us here, but I'm going to help get us out, and here's what's going on. I could get behind that. But instead, what they do is justify things like this, and I cannot tell you. I just cannot tell you.
Nothing to see here,
How
folks.
pissed that makes me, Carrie Davis says, my hope is in my God. Oops. There it is. Hope is in my God because I have no more F's to give. Yeah. Hey, Jamie, welcome in. Lazy Loper, good to see you. Let's see here. Cruel cockfighting illegal for the most rural peasants, unfettered pedophilia protected for the twisted elites. Yeah, and how are we ever going to vote your way through that, as B was talking about earlier? Jen adds that all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others.
Yeah.
Right? This is an absolute travesty. And I think if you'd have told me 2 months ago, or let's go back, and you guys tell me, if you would have been told when Trump got elected, when this was all going on in the beginning, that we would be here right now today, and they would come out and say, there is no list, there is no evidence, case closed, which is exactly what they said. So my question to you is, would you have believed that? If you knew that when Trump was elected, would you have believed that pitch? I'd love to hear your answers in the comments, because I might have. Might not have, you think you'd give hope and you'd say, no, they're going to do the right thing because they ran on doing the right thing. How is that any different than any other politician that we've dealt with? Lying their way through, right? Let's see here. Mo says, what is the difference between Russia and the US if we do things like this? This is indisputable proof that people are above the law. I couldn't agree more. And, Mo and I have had this conversation, many times in the past. I don't know who the good guy is anymore. Because can you tell me people that would do this, babe, people that would harm and prey upon this kind of innocence, do you trust that they're giving you the correct story over in the Ukraine?
No.
Or they're giving you the correct story with Israel, or they're giving you the correct story about COVID, or they're giving you the correct story about the education system or the finance system? You think they would manipulate you into, spending your money in a manner all your life long that only makes them richer and allows you to live a meager life as you retire? Right? I mean, so again, I have a really hard time thinking that anything is good now. I mean, not that I had a bunch of hope before, but this is a big deal to me. you know.
I still had a little hope.
Mm.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
There's, I don't think that, I don't know. It would take a miracle of events to happen, because you're right. This is,
Again, like we used to joke all the time about, and even in our previous lives, about the Clintons killing people or whatever, right? And you got deep state things, this and that. This is gigantic. You're talking about lots of little girls, and they'll never be the same, no matter how that comes out, right?
yeah, most of them are no longer.
Yep.
So
Yeah, crazy. Yes, talk to some folks rescuing women and children from trafficking, and they feel like connections go all the way up, says Pack Rat. If you're hiding or protecting these detestable animals, you are complicit. I could not agree more. And there's no excuse. That's the thing. That's, I think, kind of like the point that I'm making, is that I can understand from the perspective of national security that there's some things you don't want people finding out about, right? It protects the country.
right.
But,
and it would be a matter of security for sure.
well, except that it's not at all costs.
No, I agree. You said some things
Some things, but
would
not
be
this.
a matter of
Yes. Yeah, but not this. This is not an acceptable cover-up, right? Just to protect national security. If we let this happen, there's nothing to protect, in my opinion. Conserve Friend says many had lost trust in our government. The admin's Epstein debacle has ruined what little of that was left. Yeah, I'm pretty much where no thanks. There was and even my friends, you guys know that I'm friends with Tom Holman, and he's a good man, and I know him. But he said something the other day about they have the right to detain you just based upon your looks. That is completely against the Constitution, right? You do not have that right.
I have a feeling they're going to try to take that away from us too.
And
I don't know how, but
yeah.
I have a feeling they're.
Mo says the girl who was with Prince Charles killed herself. Yep, and I know they paid some off, and
And then car accidented some of them.
Yeah, tags. Nito says tag. I'm sure it's not just little girls.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and Indiana says pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Huh.
Right. Yeah, this is just absolutely insane to me. Bill O'Reilly went on to talk about how Trump had told him that the Jeffrey Epstein files can't be released because they could destroy a lot of people. I don't know whether or not you believe Bill O'Reilly. I don't know if I believe Bill O'Reilly, but that certainly gives some credit to that. Former Bush official Catherine Fitz claimed that the Epstein's files could expose a much larger cover-up involving Jeffrey Epstein. Over 20 trillion missing from the Pentagon and the government Operation Warp Speed vaccine campaign. And so what she's claiming is that this is all, connected. I also find it quite interesting that if you look back, it wasn't long ago, and the, Pam Bondi and the other people of the, there were standing on the front of the Capitol building holding the Epstein files, and yet there's no list. There's nothing to find. So does that mean?
Why does she have a smile on her face holding that?
Did that mean this was staged? Yeah, Mario says they did it in World War II with the Japanese. Hey, Zag, welcome in. Good to see you. Piss me off. Caroline Levitt says that the Department of Justice could not release some of the Epstein files, she says, because it was incredibly graphic. Again, I would ask you the same thing. Where's the arrest? Where's the people going to jail? The reporter went on to ask Caroline, she said, what do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want everyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable? Ms. Levitt replies, I would argue this administration has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration, and the Trump administration is committed to truth and transparency. Isn't that hypocritical?
But not really.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
She's like, psych.
Yeah. Yep. So, or just not in this case. Megyn Kelly went on to talk about how either Pam Bondi knew she was about to embarrass some of the Trump's most loyal surrogates out there and did it willingly, or she didn't take the time to make sure what was in those binders. What they're talking about is, that Pam Bondi had said, I've got the files, they're on my desk.
That's the one with the lips, right?
Yeah, the one with the lips, right? Yeah. And yet Now they're coming out and saying, it doesn't really exist. There isn't anything there. Makes her look bad. And, that story obviously, continues. Yeah. Jen says, photo op and more political theater. And this thing's quite interesting to me to think about this. And, I wasn't going to cover the Texas flood tonight at all, but it's interesting to me that all of this stuff breaks. And then you got the Texas floods, and now you got, Russia's really acting up a lot. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And there's a bunch of other things. I don't know. I mean, it's like we have to go.
Get the attention. Look over here. Sleight of hand.
Well, it's not just that. It's that they've now programmed us through social media to have the 5-second scroll. We're going from one event to the next event to the next event to the next event. And real life is just repeating what we see in social media circles every single day. And so whether it's important to cover it up, or it's really just a matter of Americans' short attention span, that we're just going from one event to the other, and we're so numb to all of it that we're willing to sit here and take the brutality against innocence by Jeffrey Epstein and whoever the clans are that was around him. Kelly May, welcome in. Something that I did find interesting, I don't know if you guys looked at this or not, as you guys probably heard by now, it looks like P. Diddy's going to get off too, and be released from jail. And there is one thing in the Pitty case and the Epstein case that's that has a coincidence between them. And the woman with the red arrow there in the top right-hand corner is Maureen Comey, assistant U.S. attorney and daughter of ex-FBI director James Comey. So she's the lead prosecutor in both Maxwell's and in the P. Diddy case. Let's see here. Mo said they released this when the plate is full with other stories. Yep. Another great way to say that. Yep. Just like OJ. Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, Hakestraw 54 says, glad to be back recovering from a heart attack. Well, I'm glad you're back too.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
I hope you're feeling great. I hope they rooted everything you needed and you're back to business feeling like you're 20.
With a brand new heart healthy diet.
Yeah, that'd be cool, right? Pam Bondi claims that she has no knowledge of Epstein being tied to intelligence. There's a lot of stuff circling around the web now talking about how Epstein was really an op from Israel, right? And it's funny to me how like so many of these ties, either people want to point to or there's direct correlation back to Israel. Yeah, Conservative Friends with a great point. If there's nothing there, then why is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail? Yeah, I think that's a great point. Pam Bondi again claims that she had no knowledge of Epstein being tied to intelligence, but the FBI documents from 2008 literally state Epstein provided them with information in exchange for protection from prosecution. I pulled that document, and that is true. If you look, the picture to the right, that's from the Federal Bureau of Investigations. And it down right there at the bottom said Epstein has provided information to the FBI as agreed upon. Case agent advises that no federal prosecution. So that would certainly indicate to me that maybe there's something, to all of that. Judge Joe Brown goes on, thinks that Trump is using the Epstein files to blackmail the deep state. And this has been the argument that some of the MAGA people I know, the people that I'm friends with, have made, is that, hey, just give it time. Trump's using it to get the deep state. He's using it to get the deep state. I have a big problem with this. There is no reason, zero reason that justifies the brutality of that innocence. I don't care what it is. If you're willing to allow that to fly so that you can blackmail your political opponents, you're just as bad as the person that did it, in my opinion. And I know I'm ranting, but I don't buy it. Trump was asked in a meeting room about Epstein, and he said, and I quote, guys, this is just over the last couple of days, right? This was on July the 10th. This was yesterday. Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? Like Trump himself said, forget about it, kind of makes us all want to ask a few more questions, I think. There are also reports out that FBI are reportedly contacting media outlets and influencers telling them to back off the Epstein story or lose access to the administration. So if that's true, and again, I can't verify it, right? But that if they're contacting media and saying bury the story, it won't be but just a short period of time, before you don't hear about it anymore. Yeah. People are looking up. It's pretty popular right now. But Blue Dream says, here's what we've been told as far as to know about Epstein. They said the guard fell asleep. Cameras broke. Maxwell never talked. The key witnesses killed himself. Bondi has tons of information. A full minute was missing from the tapes, and the client list has disappeared. That's where we're at. Following all that?
I thought there was no client list. So there was a client list and it disappeared.
Well, they said there was a client list, and now they're saying there
Oh,
isn't.
okay. So it just, yeah.
It just
I get
disappeared.
it. I get it.
Right. And then to kind of top it off for the day, which I thought was just absolutely crazy. If you guys know who Alan Dershowitz is, that's the former Epstein attorney. So the attorney for Epstein came out publicly and said that he's seen the entire list of individuals in the Epstein case and that it is being deliberately suppressed to protect certain powerful figures. And again, if you will not prosecute that list, if you're not going to go in there and serve justice, what that tells me is that nothing is off the plate. You're not going to serve justice if it benefits you, whether it's, the girls and what's going on there, whether it's World War III, no matter what it is, you're going to do what's in your best interest for power, and it doesn't matter. To me, the rest of the detail, if they're willing to do that, if that's true, Jen says they did it with the laptop and they will continue to do it with whatever they please.
Whatever they
That's right.
please.
100%. And I promise you that the Hunter Biden laptop, a lot of that stuff, this is all interconnected shit. It's all exposing lots of stuff, which is why they're keeping it secret. And again, I'm incredibly
That makes sense. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, but it is. It's all
That makes
linked
sense.
in. And Carrie Davis brings up a great point. Accept the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, let's give Trump a Nobel Peace Prize, as we don't prosecute people who victimized innocents. No, thank you. I don't know if you guys are also following the Patel and Bongino thing. There's a lot going on with it. Let's see. Dr. Simon Godick said that I thought he was solid at first, and then I looked into who he's dating. So I said, okay, cool. Let's find out who he's dating. I went and dug into it a little bit, and Marissa Street, which is his girlfriend, if you read into her bio, she is the CEO of Prager University, was born in Los Angeles and moved to Israel at a young age, where she completed her primary education and served in the military intelligence unit of the Israel Defense Forces. She then returned to Los Angeles to earn her bachelor's degree in business and economics and her master's degree in education and nonprofit management. So I find that interesting, right? And Brooklyn Dad went on to say that it's getting so weird and petty that the FBI under Kash Patel, he's forcing agents to submit to a lie detector test to judge their amount of loyalty. They should be subjecting Pam Bondi to the lie detector to find out what happened to the Epstein list. These guys are clowns. Again, I hope that's not true, but there are several different places reporting that that's true. Let's see here. Jen says, did we get any resolution to the money filtered through the Biden family, the businesses in the Ukraine, the White House powder? Hell no. And nor are we going to, right? Mo says it's uncanny how many lawmakers have dual citizens to the U.S. and Israel. I can't believe more lawmakers aren't screaming from the rooftops, standing on their chairs, demanding justice. I don't get it. Well, there's another guy involved in all of this, and you guys have probably heard, but Dan Bongino has taken some time off after clashing with AG Pam Bondi at the White House over the Epstein files, according to Axios. The alleged fight erupted after a 10-hour video was released with a minute missing. Some insiders believed Bongino quit. However, administration official says he's still on the job, the outlet reported. Two sources familiar with the Bongino's position says he was increasingly displeased with Bondi's handling of the Epstein case because she had publicly overpromised, this is important, overpromised and underachieved disclosures about the Epstein client list that apparently never existed, Axios reports. And I think this is important because I've seen a lot of people, Glenn Beck, a lot of them be talking about, hey, we want Bongino, we need to get rid of Bondi, blah, 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 blah. But he says right here in his, absolute, own words that she's publicly overpromised. Okay, well, what did she publicly overpromise? She said she had the files. She said they were on her desk. Yep. They said they were going to release them. So I think in his own words, he's kind of saying that she shouldn't have said that she had the list. She shouldn't have said that they were going to be released.
She shouldn't have.
No, she should have. That's innocence.
Well, if she wasn't going to do it, she shouldn't have said it. Don't say you're going to do it, and then
That's probably fair. There is some metadata that has been taken from the video of Epstein, and it says that it has been modified. So now we have to ask ourselves, who's modifying the video of Epstein while he was in jail? Right. Remember, before they said there was no video. Back in the Maxwell trial, they were talking about how there was no video. Remember that? Then they all of a sudden accidentally find some video, but there's a minute missing and it's spliced together. I mean, they really think you're stupid, you know. Let's see here. Nito says, rules for thee, but not for me, says the elite. So where does that leave us?
begging for scraps.
Yeah, begging for scraps. They'd lose their positions and donors if they stood up to the people, stood up for the people. Yeah, they might. They very well might. But man, you know, think back when George Washington was offered the crown and he stood up for the people. You know, it cost him a lot. But you want to live forever? You want to live in history books forever? Return the republic to the people.
Right.
I mean, that's more valuable than any amount of money.
Yep. That'd make you more famous than
Forever.
a serial killer.
Kids, hundreds of years would be hearing your name in history books, reading about how, you know, whoever restored the republic and brought trust back. Man.
Wouldn't that be?
Yep. It would seem to be a good time for the Dems to stand up and point to the administration over this missing client list, yet I'm not hearing about it because they're on it too. Right? Seems to be folks more powerful than both parties to keep everyone quiet. Or they're all involved, they're all blackmailed, they all participated, right? It was in the fridge behind the sour milk container. What was? The list? Let's see here. Dan Bongino went on to talk about how he will not stay at the FBI if Pam Bondi is not removed. So apparently there's a big pissing match going back and forth about he wants her gone. And then the White House releases a kumbaya letter. You know, who knows? Who knows what's really happening?
So they're firing her?
There's obviously, there's turmoil obviously in the Trump administration, right? There's chaos going on up there between lots of different people. I mean, I've heard, you know, RFK contradict him a couple times. Look what happened with Elon Musk. Right? Elon Musk is now gone. There was, you know, lots of people from the beginning that are gone. I'm, you know, leaning more and more that he might really be a tyrant, you know. I mean, time will tell.
Unless it's all a show and, you know, they're still working together behind the scenes.
Yeah, and and it could very well be that, and he just doesn't have he doesn't have any real power. Either he's tyrannical or he doesn't have the power to change it. Right?
Yikes.
Yeah, this is one. You know, think that all the way through. This is why we should do our best not to support any of these people. Yep, I agree, Mo. I agree. Russell Brand went on to say, if they can kill JFK, take down towers, and silence Epstein, what else have they done? There's no going back to blind trust and centralized power. What matters now is what you can see, grow, fix, and protect with your own hands. This is a very important message, in my opinion.
That was July 10.
Yep, that was yesterday. And, you know, I'll read it again. And, you know, what he's saying is important. He says, if they can kill JFK, take down towers, and silence Epstein. So we could say that differently. You know, if they could assassinate an ongoing president, kill 3,000 Americans with planes, and justify the corruption and the predatory abuse of innocents, what else have they already done? There's no going back to trusting them anymore. And what matters now is what you see with your own eyes, what you can grow for your own benefit, fix, repair, construct, build, and protect with your own hands. And he's, to me, directly referring to security. You know, what can you build for yourself? What can you have for yourself? And how are you going to protect the things that you have? Let's see here.
Kind of odd coming from him.
It is kind of odd coming from him. You can't tax your way to prosperity, lie your way to the truth. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. The FBI has Epstein's videotapes. The FBI has Seth Rich's laptop. The FBI has Huma Abedin's laptop, Hunter Biden's laptop. They have hid all of these things from the public, right? America is a banana republic where the secret police protect the guilty elites. Yep, it's like the illusion of freedom. You know, they keep us believing we're free when really what they've convinced us to do is buy a new house every 5 years, keep us in debt the whole time. What they've really convinced us to do is to work for the same company for 40 years and then take the money that we earn, a percentage of it, and giving back to them so they can invest it, turn it, and flip it. And then you get the crumbs kind of that comes off of it. And then eventually you live your life out. You have more kids. They wash, rinse, repeat the cycle. And as soon as you're no longer valuable, they try to stick you in a medical system that's committed to killing you. And pretty quick, they spend all of your assets down and you die.
That doesn't sound like fun. Doesn't sound like.
G. Johns, how are you? So if the FBI doesn't have the phones that accidentally fell multiple times below the hammer Hillary held. Right. Right. Great friggin' point. Packrat says, Russell Brand is right. We are a third world country with iPhones.
Somebody says.
Yeah. Kind of buy that. Let's see here. Data don't lie. Trump's Epstein Stonewall just backfired. Google searches for Epstein are up 1,200% this week, topping every Trump headline from Gronk to tariffs. So many people are Googling it. Many people are trying to see it. And, you know, guys, it's these little sparks like this that create disobedience and create people questioning what's going on. And I really hope this wakes more and more people up, because if we can stand shoulder to shoulder, we can get a lot done, you know. The Daily Beast reported that Trump is weighing pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell for fear that she would spill secrets about his decade-long friendship with Epstein, reports Michael Wolff. Let's see here. Yeah, Jen said that doesn't sound like a constitutional republic either. Yep, not much freedom left for the little guy in what you said, Tag. No, there's not, bud. Absolutely not. Russell Brand has been attacked and prosecuted to try to silence him. Yep. Yes, he has. And, you know, got to really appreciate someone who is attacked and yet keeps fighting, you know, and kind of stands in there.
I don't know much about him.
I think, well, he now is kind of turned on Trump, as Elon Musk has a lot of people. And I think you guys are going to see a major part of the MAGA base turn from what's going on. Elon Musk and Joe Rogan have agreed to start a podcast focused on exposing corruption and sharing the truth, with episodes revealing the Epstein list. Would you do that? Which I think is quite interesting. And Morgan Freeman put out a tweet that said, I'm going to post this every day so nobody forgets exactly who Trump is and why the Epstein files have suddenly disappeared.
Oh, it's him and him. Yeah.
It's him and a whole bunch of different pictures.
Him and her.
Yeah. Yep. You like that? Pretty rough, huh? Pretty rough. Yep. And if this cover up continues, Steve Bannon went on to say that 10% of the MAGA base will walk away. I think it would be way more than 10%. Again, I had hope in the beginning, but yep. I do not believe in it at all anymore, at all. The only reason I do is one of my sons listens to him. Picture 54 says no good deed goes unpunished in this country anymore. Yeah. Great comments. All right. Should we move on to a new topic? We'll get on to the really good news.
Yeah.
All right. Trump has become very pissed off at Vladimir Putin. I don't know if you guys are following this or not. But, you know, Putin has amassed, you know, lots of missiles, lots of troops. They're still ongoing into the Ukraine. And there was kind of a switch somewhere along the way, because you remember it wasn't long ago and Trump was talking about how Ukraine needed to defend themselves. But Trump has now agreed to send more weapons, and the Europeans agreed to send more cash. The elite steal the money and send the poor to die with weapons, right? That we send them right here from America. Russia keeps advancing. It was a very dark night for Zelensky. The other night, they launched 700 kamikaze drones and 14 hypersonic missiles to them. And if you look at that picture, that map down there, that shows you the flights incoming from Russia. That was one day of flights. These are military flights, the yellow lines. Okay. These are flying in and out of Ukraine. So these are actual military missions. President Donald Trump is now set to invoke presidential authority to expedite the delivery of weapons. So not only are we going to send him a bunch more, we're going to expedite sending the Ukraine a bunch more, because Russia has amassed a record number of missiles, 2,000 units for the first time since 2022, the director of the Ukrainian Center of Security and Cooperation. Let's see here. Russia has unleashed, and this was today, Russia launched 6 strategic bombers into the air. A massive strike was on its way to Kyiv. So I would expect now, as we're watching this live, you're probably seeing it. Trump stated that something will happen when asked about Russia's latest strikes. What is your reaction to the Russian strikes on the Ukraine? He said, I know everything, and you'll see what it'll happen. So he's now beginning to threaten Russia. There's a bunch of stuff out there about the Russia's losing hope in Trump, and they seemed, Trump and Putin again seem to be feuding. So, I mean, the question would be, is that true, or are we just simply trying to cover up for the Epstein thing? You know, everyone's worried about the stupid Epstein list. Let's just get a big old threat of World War III out there, and we'll take their minds off of it. Right?
There is a lot of smoke and mirrors going on.
A lot. It's so hard. Yeah, and it comes out, G. John says, more crippling sanctions. Yep, more crippling sanctions. Yep, completely ridiculous. My book. But it can't just be Russia, right? Chinese military training of amphibious invasion for Taiwan. Every single one of these armored vehicles will be destroyed by drones before they even reach the coast. There was video of many amphibian ships outside of the China in the direction of Taiwan. China also showed off a rocket engine that defies the laws of physics. And I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but this is significant. You get a missile, you know, that can fly at 20,000 kilometers per hour, that can make a hard right turn like that. You guys can see the trail of it, right? That's significant. Right. Again, that defies the law of
something,
physics.
Right? It's tracking something.
No.
Why would it turn?
This is the video that came out of China, is that it was just making rights and making lefts. This would be very, very hard to defend from, I think. And this was in response to, I don't know if you guys read this or not, but Trump had threatened Xi Jinping in China. And he said that Trump threatened to bomb Beijing if China invaded Taiwan. And Xi Jinping hit right back instantly and said there's no power on earth that can stop China from taking back Taiwan. So it seems like to me there's an ego game going on between Trump and Putin and Trump and Xi Jinping for who has the biggest pee-pee. And that's a bad place to be. When ego allows you to do that stuff, when ego allows you to hide, you know, that assault on innocence we talked about earlier, for the gain of power, I think it's just a very, 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 very bad place to be. There are some good things, though, that get pointed out. You know, for example, that Trump administration launched an operation to take back farmland from Chinese Communist Party, right? Finally, China should not be allowed to buy land in America in the first place. Let's ban it. And so they're on that path. Kansas has jumped on. They're doing it now. I know Arkansas is doing it, as are several other states. But guys, don't let these little good things that make you feel good and make you feel patriotic, you know, hide or mask the fact that the Epstein's list isn't going to come out and they've now reported the case is closed, because I certainly will not let it. Let's see, moving on to Israel. This is unbelievable. Israel just announced its 1,014th weapons shipment from the U.S. this week. Israel's now received a shipment of weapons from the U.S. every 15 hours for over 20 months.
Oh, man.
20 months. This week, Israel announced the 1,014th weapons shipment from the U.S. in 614 days. We just keep funding it and keep funding it and keep funding it and keep funding it, right? And yet we get people who lose their homes and lose their lives, and we have soldiers who are on the streets. We got people with mental illness who need help.
Can't afford their
right.
food.
We got single moms. You know, it's interesting. I was reading a jury summons that was sitting on my desk. I don't have to go, but anyway, it said that if selected, they would pay me $10 a day. You know, $10 a day to go serve on a jury, which is one of the most important critical functions of a constitutional republic and of our freedom. They're going to pay you $10, but we're willing to send hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, you know, over to let someone kill some other people. Yeah. Packrat says Chinese held land should be inventoried and watched. I'll believe it when I see it. Right. That's actually a really, really great point. Trump says we're not going to let him do it. Well, Trump also said he was going to release the Epstein list. Trump also said the Russian war would end within a
He
day.
was going to clean house.
Right. I mean,
He was going to drain the
we're going to
swamp.
drain the swamp. We're going to.
First time.
Yeah. Yep. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, she said, I'm filing amendments to stop sending our defense money overseas. Nuclear armed Israel doesn't need more cash. Taiwan doesn't either. Jordan and Africa can fund their own programs. This is America's budget. Let's start spending it. Let's spend it defending America. Very supportive. I don't know if she's just the rattle rouser out there to keep people thinking that there's somebody fighting.
I'm just hoping that if they come to attack us, that we don't go, oh, we've sent all of our stuff away.
Well,
We don't have anything. All
Yeah.
right, people, it's up to you to come to the defense of the
Yeah.
United States. Oh, we took some of your things away.
yeah, when I think
Sorry.
what's interesting is they use the word shipment, right? So Israel announced the 1014th weapon shipment. You know how many weapons are in each shipment?
Oh, a lot.
I would assume a lot.
Boatload.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get it?
So they get
Boatload.
a shipment of weapon every 15 hours for 20 months. Absolutely insane.
That's what I'm saying. I hope that if we get attacked here, our military has enough of whatever to do what it needs to do and doesn't come up with the excuse of, oh, sorry.
Well, maybe the old sorry is plausible deniability for the new, to reset the whole thing. Maybe. I won't weird out on you guys. Say that and then, that ain't the last one I got. What's going on?
That was it.
No.
Good news,
Let me go through
folks.
this.
The good news is over.
No, there's some more in there. Why didn't it come over? That's really weird.
All the slides are blank.
No, that is really weird.
Oh,
I had all kinds
that's
of
really weird.
No, that's
So he's
okay.
got slide 32.
That's totally weird.
Hmm.
How the pictures didn't come over, like of the fireworks, and those were really, really beautiful pictures.
Those
Anyway,
were really good pictures.
this is a good place to kind of summarize it all up. Anyway, I think hope what you guys take from this or what you ponder is that if a government, if an elected official, if the people in power are willing to hide the brutality of innocence, can we trust them to do anything? The very beginning of justice we can't protect. The weakest among us we can't protect. And if they're unwilling to protect them under the guise of national security or for gaining their own level of power or for whatever, guys, they're willing to do anything. Nothing is off the list. And that alone to me is enough. I don't need any more information, And I've got lots of friends telling me, oh wait, it's coming out. Oh, it's this, it's that. I'm telling you, the memo from the FBI said case closed. That's what it said. We shall see, right? I don't know in the end, but I am not happy about it in any stretch of the imagination. I don't. What's off the table if you're willing to do those things?
I think that's pretty bad. So I don't.
Yeah, and here we are. So I think the question is, what do we do about it? What do you do with that information, bud?
We grow our own food
Mm-hmm.
and gather around people who make us better and can teach us things, and we can teach them things, or
Yep, I think
learn from each other.
the community is probably more important now than ever.
Community.
Yeah, because it's clearly been demonstrated nothing's safe, guys. If that isn't safe, if innocence like that isn't safe, nothing's safe. Right?
Yeah.
Nothing. I can't think of a single example of where anything else would be safe. Yeah, Mo, perfectly said, Mo. Perfectly said. You stop supporting these people with our blood and treasure. Yep. Yep. And, but I don't really know the total way to do all of that because the system is really hard. We push it, we funnel it, we try, every single day. But let's see here. Jen says she resent me the pictures through email. Okay. I don't think anyone in Washington can be trusted, especially when our lawmakers only earn about $200,000 a year, but still have a net, worth of 20 million, more than 20 million. And, in a lot of cases, it's about power and greed. They're willing to go to any lengths to keep it. So I don't see how there's a political solution to any of this. I mean, maybe we can make some ground on a local level. We'll keep fighting those fights. But I think what we need to do is yoke up and prepare.
Yeah.
I think that's the single best thing you can do,
Learn your neighbor.
Yeah. The difference between a prepper and a homesteader is where they store the food. That's what it is, right? Some people put it on a shelf. Some people keep it in a seed. Some people keep it on the hoof.
Yeah.
I always joke that I store my energy in a tree. Later on sometime I'm going to burn that tree for heat, turn it into BTUs. But I think at the end of the day, we have to take charge. We have to take accountability for himself. There's nobody coming to help. They're not coming to help you guys. They're not coming. I'm telling you, they're not coming. They're not coming. They're not coming.
Nope.
You got to do it. And, the hard part is you can't do it alone, but that ain't easy either, because you got all that interpersonal stuff that goes on between people, trying to find a way to show grace and be kind and show respect and give the benefit of the doubt and all of those things. Maybe even think before you speak. Those kind of things are hard, and they're hard for all. It's hard for me, and but you got to do it, because I think the alternative is even harder.
Yeah.
I know Jesse and Callie are on here tonight, so I'm going to quote Callie, and where she says, "Choose your heart."
Choose your heart.
You just got to choose your heart, and you can choose the heart of the system that's, been keeping us little guys enslaved for, all of our lives, all of my life, all of my parents' life, all of his parents' life. They've been doing all of that, or you could choose the heart of doing for yourself. Either one of them, is hard.
A lot of times, though, when you do for yourself, you just like us, we've learned how to make things easier. We've learned to rely on friends, so that also makes things easier. So when you put these things in place, it lightens the load in the long run.
Yep. Yeah, and guys, keep in mind too, the people that you surround yourselves with aren't always going to have a good day. I'm not always going to have a good day. B's not always going to have a good day.
No.
We have got to find a way to show grace to the people around us. We have to build community, because I'm telling you, there's nobody coming for you. They're just not coming to help. Scott says, Russell Brand quotes, "Starve the beast, pump it, grow it, preserve it, and share it." I love every bit of that. And that's exactly how it should be. Before we get out of here, B, tonight, you got any parting words? We've kind of been ranting on that all night
the same
long.
kind of thing. Mine was just kind of along the lines of to be grateful and just and show it. Don't get stuck in the mud and stay there. If you're there, get up. Get moving. Be productive.
Yeah. I think being appreciative, being thankful is a really good lesson tonight, because many of you in this audience and, being on, we've come so far, and our community has come so far.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard at every turn. And, a lot of you guys probably know this, I've had, stern words with many people in my community, and yet, we find a way to be friends and, to say, hey, we agree to disagree, but you got to be thankful for where you're at. If not, you're looking to be a victim. And, I use this example at work a lot, but, when you self-identify as a victim, you're always going to find a bad guy. You will always find one every single time, 100% of the time. So my parting words is, don't self-identify as a victim, and I think it'll be all right. So go yoke up, guys, get prepared, get your farms in order. More importantly, get your relationship. Lost the camera. Oh, look at that.
You are done.
Yeah. Yep.
Done early.
So I love you guys. Hang tough, and we will see you guys next week.
Be out.
Tag out. Good night, everybody.